we stand in America.
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. It is Wednesday, January the 8th, and we are live at Acts Media Group headquarters. And we're hoping that we're live, and we're hoping that you can hear us. We normally start at 9 a.m., and it's a few minutes after that. We've had some technical difficulties that we're trying to overcome, and hopefully you can hear us clearly. We have a very important show today. We have Dr. Mary Byrne, our co-host. How are you doing?
I'm excellent, and how are you?
Well, we're doing good.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is take 2 or take 3, I don't know, but we're trying to get this show, because this show is very important. And today we have a special guest, Lindsay Dumas-Bell. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Well, just fine. Great. Glad to have you here today. You work with an organization called OAC, and OAC is Ozarks Area Action Corporation. Is that what it's called?
Yes, Ozarks Area Community Action Corporation.
Yes, and been here a long time, helping a lot of people, and so we are glad that you're here today. We're going to be talking about all kinds of important things that your organization does. I think you might want to take a pencil or paper and just write down some things. Whatever happens here in Southwest Missouri can happen all over the country. And one of the things that we always want to do on our show, Dr. Mary Byrne and I always want to make sure that we're talking about important issues, social issues, social causes, but trying to figure out positive solutions.
And people who make those solutions happen. And that's what's important about Lindsay here.
Yeah, she's a difference maker. That's what we were explaining to her before the show started, that there's no one that's ever been on our show that's not a difference maker. We choose on purpose difference makers to make a difference in other people's lives. And so I think that's really important. So let's go ahead and get started. So Dennis, our volunteer, do you think that we're okay if people can hear us?
Yes.
Because we can't hear ourselves now.
Right.
And so we've got our headphones off. But as long as we're being heard, this is some very important information. So
I apologize, the quality of the sound isn't better, but we're on.
Okay, we're live. Okay. Well, that's...
He's been working hard this morning.
Yeah, so that's a blessing. So volunteer producer, and everybody that works at Acts Ministry is a volunteer. So very, very good. So Lindsay, how long have you been with Acts, with OAC, and tell us a little bit about OAC.
Yeah, I've been with OAC for 15 years, 15 and a half. I just really love it there, and would just love to stay as long as they'll have me, and hopefully retire from OAC.
So it's a private nonprofit.
It's a private nonprofit, yes. OAC stands for, as you said, Ozarks Area Community Action Corporation. We are one of 19 community action agencies in the state of Missouri, and one of over 1,000 community action agencies nationwide. We all have different names, but our focus of helping people move from poverty to self-sufficiency is the same. And really looking at the causes and conditions of poverty, and how can we affect change in communities nationwide. So if you're hearing us in Southwest Missouri, OAC is where you can start. If you're outside of Southwest Missouri, I would just Google community action, and community action will come up.
Very good.
Yeah.
And so how many counties does this group serve? Is it 19?
OAC serves 10
10
counties.
10
10 counties,
10
yep.
counties. Okay.
So Greene County is our central office and centralized hub, I suppose, where our administrative offices are. And then we've got Barry, Christian, Dade, Dallas, Lawrence, Polk, Stone, Taney, and Webster counties.
Okay, so that's a pretty good area, pretty good sized area,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a lot of people that,
Yes.
that you have potential to serve. Well, let's get into some program highlights. I mean, this is what I think is the bread and the butter of what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the board and I see some of the things, but I know that I'm gonna learn something today from you, and I know that the listeners will too, and viewers will too. So what's some of the program highlights?
Well, we've got seven different programs. So we serve people from every aspect of their life, from beginning through the entire lifespan. And one of our programs, the program that makes us a community action agency, is called our CSBG or program. We also call them our neighborhood centers or community centers. And CSBG stands for Community Services Block Grant. That identifies us as a community action agency. I'll back up just a little bit that when Community Action was founded in the 1960s, President Johnson signed the Economic Opportunity Act, and that started Community Action at that time. And states and local agencies had the autonomy to really see what the needs were in their communities. And that's one of the great things about Community Action is we're all a little bit different because we have different needs happening in our communities. So here in Southwest Missouri, poverty might look a little bit different than it does, say, in St. Louis or New York City. You know, it is different, so we can adapt our services accordingly to
It's
what
called
the needs
local
are.
control.
Local control, yes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So we have 7 different programs. Some community action agencies will have some of these programs, but they will vary agency to agency somewhat. So our CSBG program works with people where they are. So if you needed help with something, maybe it was an emergency rent that you needed help with, or you maybe not an emergency crisis, but you are working part-time and you'd like to get a full-time job and maybe just need to increase your skills, or maybe you'd like to go back and get some further education to learn something new and make you increase your skills in the workplace. Whatever it might be, parenting, health related, our CSBG team can help you identify those goals and then work toward progress on those goals. Our neighborhood centers also do a lot of special projects. So every year we look at what's going on now, and we develop collaboratively projects within our communities. So one of our projects is a poverty simulation, and it works with groups to simulate what it might be like to live in poverty.
To raise awareness.
To raise awareness, to challenge people to maybe look at the ideas that they have about poverty, and then maybe adapt some of the way things work in communities. So for example, if you're only open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and you're not on the bus line, and someone has to take a bus and then walk a mile to get to you, and they work, how can we be more engaged with our community to meet the people where they are? Can we offer phone appointments, virtual appointments over Zoom? Can we be more flexible in the services and the way that we offer those services?
Oh, so you're talking about if your office, your particular office, is not accessible
Mm-hmm.
to people who have limited transportation, you figure out ways to communicate with them and overcome that inaccessibility.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
And part of a poverty simulation hopefully challenges some of those thoughts. So if you're participating in a poverty simulation, you're going to experience what it might be like to live in poverty. You're going to feel the challenges of, I'm raising my children, I have to get them to school, I have to get to work on time, and we're relying on public transportation, but now my child is sick today, and I don't have a babysitter, and so I have to call in, and all of those, every little piece that has to fit to the puzzle, and if one piece doesn't fit, it can really challenge everything. So a poverty simulation is a really good experience for people to, walk a life in the shoes of someone who is struggling and gain some insight on, now in my real life, is there something that I can do to get involved? Can I volunteer? Can I educate people? What can I do?
So Lindsay, how many, we're in the winter time now. We're
Yes,
in the middle of
it's
winter.
cold.
And it's cold.
And we
and
just
got-
had a cold snap.
Oh, yeah, the cold snap, we had ice, we were lucky, we didn't have near the ice that some areas had, but we had ice and snow and different things, and so, is there any particular month of the year, or is it pretty much the same? You got different people needing different things, you got transportation needs, you got food insecurity, you've got housing needs, clothing needs, you got different things going on. Is it pretty consistent 12 months a year, or is during this winter time now, when we know that people need to be inside where it's warm, are you having more of those type of calls?
Does your volume of service
Yeah,
go up in the
what-
winter?
I think our LIHEAP program is definitely experiencing a surge in applications. LIHEAP is Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. They help keep people warm in the winter time and
Help pay the utility
help-
bills,
yeah,
things like that.
yeah, and so
Is that part of your weatherization?
it is a separate program, but they do work together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
so-
I'm interested in that, sharing information about weatherization. I downloaded your handy dandy low-cost energy saving tips
Mhm.
and made sure that I was following all of these.
Well, there's some good information there.
There is
Yeah.
excellent information, and I'll tell you, it was last year I decided to reduce my thermostat from 72 to 68 degrees.
Uh-huh.
I cut my monthly heating bill by $100 a month.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Just 4 degrees. And yes, I wear an extra, sweater, but, I'm still comfortable, and I can spend that $100 on something else.
Mhm.
Sure.
So there's that, and then the idea of raising your air conditioning to 78.
Yeah.
Not down to 72. And again, you're saving energy in the summer months.
Mhm.
But it has to do with making the decision that these are strategies you're going to use in your home for personal efforts
Yeah.
to keep yourself maybe not as comfortable as you think you'd like to be, but I'm always reminded that you can find lighter clothes in the summer or find an extra layer in the winter, and you'll save on your bills.
Mhm.
And so this lovely 20-item savings tip sheet kind of maps it all out for you. It's like a checklist. So number one is seal around doors and windows with weather strip and caulk. how does OCAC help people get this done if you're maybe a widow in your 70s living alone?
Sure, yeah. Our weatherization program, so all of our programs are income-based, and they range from 100 to 200% of the federal poverty guideline. For the most part, we have some projects and grants, and our and our family planning goes on a sliding scale. But for the most part, our programs are 1 to 200% of the federal poverty guideline, and so weatherization is 200%. And an example of that, right now, 100% of the federal poverty guideline is $15,060 annually, so not a lot. But weatherization, so then would be double that, 30,120, if my math is correct. So if if you are in that income bracket, definitely apply for weatherization.
And what happens when you do that?
What happens? So our weatherization crew comes out and they do an energy audit of your home, and they use this tool called a blower door. They hook up a tool to your door, and it calibrates the
Draft?
where your home is losing energy, and probably does a lot of other things. But our crews are very knowledgeable. They have a lot of experience, so they'll determine what needs to be done. So maybe you need repairs around your window, maybe you need more insulation, maybe you need a replacement. I visited a woman after, just as our weatherization crew was finishing up her home, and she didn't have an HVAC system when they arrived, and they installed an HVAC system. She had been using space heaters the entire time she lived in her home, and our weatherization team put in an HVAC system, which, if you've ever had to do, is very expensive. And that was a great.
But it was a way to keep her independent and in her home.
In her home, and warm, and safe. There are safety concerns when you're using small space heaters.
Yeah.
And but anyway, our weatherization team does an energy audit. They determine what the needs are, and then if you are eligible for weatherization, they make those repairs and or replacements, and it's free. It's for people who.
Because it's the grant funding that pays
Right.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to brag, Lindsay, about your weatherization teams. I know you have more than one. When I was a state representative for 5 years, I every year went with a team and saw how they operate, just like you explained.
Yeah.
And they come in and do an audit, and they determine what needs to be done. And then they set aside and do those things, whether it be weather stripping around windows, doors, replace a window, whatever.
Yeah.
Replace I know one place a stove needed to be replaced. They had a stove, but it wasn't working. Okay, and they were trying to cook with just a little microwave type device and no stove, and so different things happen, and like you said, insulation maybe in the ceiling, the walls, whatever. They do tremendous work.
They do, yeah.
And we're all thinking right now, because it feels a little chilly in this room today, and it's cold outside. But in the summertime, the same weatherization teams are very active 12 months a year, because in the summertime your electric bill is pretty high. It's going up every year, it seems like, and so obviously you don't want drafts and air going in and out and stuff like that, so you want to keep your house cool. And so they also do the weather stripping in the summertime too, in the fall and even in the spring, because it's important to be 12 months a year to be tight, sealed tight, where you're protecting
Sure.
your climate inside and stuff like that. So they do. I've watched them interact with people. I've watched them just take a mobile home or a home, a small rental home or something. I've seen them transform a house into a very safe comfortable place for someone to live. And so that is a great service. And like you said, it's free. But one thing I did find out, and I bet they still do it today, somebody like me or the two of you, we're blessed and we can pay for our own services. But if somebody like me, I'm an older guy, and I wanted to have somebody come out and do an audit, you can put your name on a list. Now they will charge you to come out and do an audit, but they will do an audit, and then you can determine if you can. Either they'll help you find somebody that can do it or whatever. They're not going to do it free because we don't need that help. But they're experts at doing those audits, and then you can determine whether you need somebody to come out and do something.
So they help you gather the information,
and
Yeah.
so
so
you
that-
won't have access
yeah.
to the money.
Yeah, and I
Right,
think, and they did that every year that I was in office, and I assume they still do that today, because
They
that's
do,
yeah,
yeah.
because that's a great service. I mean, still, as we get older, and sometimes even younger, if you're disabled, you got these situations going on, and you're not an expert on all those things, and if this team can come and do that and help you, that's a great thing to do too. So I really like that service. What other kind of services that stand out that
Yeah, we've got a housing assistance program that provides affordable housing. We were chatting before the show started about affordable housing, and that program works in all 10 of our counties to help people get into a decent, safe, affordable home, a home of their choosing. So we are always looking for property owners who would like to be part of our housing assistance program and receive that subsidy. So housing will pay a portion of the rent, and then the renter pays a portion of the rent. But it really does help out people. Let's use the example of a senior who is widowed, for example, and she's on a fixed income, or he's on a fixed income. That income is likely not to change, and as the rates of housing increase, it becomes harder and harder for people to stay in their home. And so a program like housing that can help pay a portion of the rent really does keep people housed. And
Yeah, there's a large portion of people who don't have income other than Social Security.
right.
And of course, every January you get an adjustment. But the adjustment isn't going to cover
No.
inflation in every area
Right.
the way it's really happening. So I'm sure there's many seniors who would love to know about this service, and their families too, because there's a element of dignity in being independent, but it's difficult in these times, these economic times, even for the children of these elderly people to help, because they're struggling too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a very good program.
So
to know
Lindsay,
about.
how do people in this area, Southwest Missouri area, how do they get a hold of OCAC? What's the best way? Go online, make a phone call?
Yeah.
What do we do?
If online is easy, our website is oac.ac. I think it's up on the
Yeah,
well,
at the
oac
band.
dot AC.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
dyslexia kicking in again.
that's okay. That's okay. It's our acronym just with a period in it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then our phone number is also down there, 417-862-4314.
Got that one right.
Yeah, that's good. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X. You can find us on socials.
Uh-huh.
So any number of ways to get a hold of. They can come into any one of our offices or centers. Here in Springfield, we are At 215 South Barnes, that's our central office.
You got a great office in Ozark, Missouri.
We do. We have our Christian County Neighborhood Center.
So you have neighborhood centers in all of the counties you serve?
We do, yes. Mhm.
That's the network.
And you got a great group of employees, I know, and a lot of employees. But you also work with a lot of other groups. Because
do,
I know
yeah.
as I've tried to find housing for people, we were talking about it, that sometimes we start with you, but then you'll then work with another group, maybe like in our area, O'Reilly Hospitality Group, different groups that up in Springfield that all kind of work together
Yeah.
to get the job done. It's not just sometimes one group, but it's several groups that actually make it work.
Yeah, collaborative effort is, we're stronger together as we've heard many times.
Yeah, I
but-
really appreciate that. We have
Yeah.
a great food pantry in Christian County, least of these. And it's our only really food pantry. Now, we have great churches and different organizations that provide food too. But least of these is the largest, that is the Christian County Food Pantry. But I know they, you know, your office in Ozark would, if they find a need for food, then they're gonna be calling least of these, and working and getting everybody hooked together to do that. How much time do we have?
Whatever you need.
Well, I wanna make sure I talk about sponsors.
Yeah.
Before we end the show. So-
Yeah, we started at about 9:30, so
Okay,
go
okay.
another 15 minutes if you want.
Okay, all right, so let's stop right now. We're gonna talk about sponsors.
Okay.
We do have two very important sponsors, very good sponsors, that help make this show possible. We were talking about equipment, and we've got really good equipment, but I would call it rudimentary equipment, compared to some studios and things like that, but we're happy with what we got, but we're always wanting to try to get better equipment to where our show is better and can reach more people. And our first sponsor is Brad Pistow. He is a certified fiduciary financial planner located in Ozark, Missouri. And he is not only probably one of the best financial planners for retirement then in the state, he is also one of the best in the country. And he's licensed in several states. And if he's not licensed in the state that you're watching today, you can still call him, because I'll give you numbers, so make sure you have paper and pencil, because he knows associates in all 50 states. He goes around the country speaking, and he also contributes to Wall Street Journal, to USA Today, just on and on and on. He is a contributor to many different types of major publications. He's written a couple books. The first book called Safe Money Matters. The second book called Bulletproof. Both are best-selling Amazon retirement books. He always talks about it's not too early to ever think about retiring. And when we look at the cost of what it costs to live today and what it cost to live several years ago or even 5 years ago, we can kind of see the projection of increased cost of living. And so you don't want to run out of money before you run out of life. And so he has programs. And he is a sponsor because I use him. My family uses him. I have several family members. We have several friends that use them, and we would not have a sponsor if he wasn't the best at what he does. So here's his phone number, 417-862-9777. 417, I think I did that phone number wrong too. So 417-581-9222. So we'll get that number right, 417-581-9222, okay? You can call that number and Lisa will answer the phone and they'll get you set up with free information. He doesn't charge to have consultations. And if you're thinking about retiring, he's the guy that you need to talk to. The other sponsor is Springfield Nissan, Springfield Kia. And that is, used to be John Youngblood, and now it is John Whitaker and Aaron Swanson. And so they're located in Springfield, Missouri. They sell Nissans, Kias. Those are new cars. They also sell the used cars. They also sell certified cars. Certified cars is kind of like what Mary was talking about a while ago. You can sometimes buy a used car and you can get some type of limited warranty, or you can buy a limited warranty, or you can buy a car that's a newer car but used, and it is certified. So they go through several inspection points, usually 50, 60, 100 and some odd inspection points to make sure that that car drives down the road many more miles before it has some major issues. That's going to save you money. So I highly recommend. My last two cars have come, and I'm going to be buying a car, it looks like, in 2025. And so I'll be buying another car from these gentlemen. They're located at 3838 South Campbell. New cars on one side. Just across the street on South Campbell is used cars. And they've been in business for over 45 years in Southwest Missouri, one of the oldest locally owned dealers in the Springfield area. So we highly recommend it. They have buyers from all over the country. Several states come to buy cars from these guys. They have tremendous service, and that's one of the reasons why people buy from them. So anyway, that's our two sponsors. We're always looking for another sponsor or two. So if anybody's interested, be sure and let us know, contact us, and we'll come out and talk to you about very inexpensive advertising to promote your business for 2025. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So more on OCAC. Let's talk about things that's coming up. We talked about some interesting events coming up. You got one coming up this Saturday.
We do. It's our big event called the Mo Mac and Cheese Fest. It's a great time. If you like mac and cheese, this is your event. So
Is there a competition with these?
there is a competition. So those who enter will be judged on two different categories. Classic mac, which is just your traditional kind of mac and cheese, and then out of the box, which is a little different. We have a mac and cheese waffle, so that's a little bit different.
I've heard of those, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of different kinds of mac and cheese. We've got a live band, loose cannons. They play a variety of songs from multiple decades. They're a lot of fun. We've got a Nerf battle zone, and we've got a mac and cheese king and queen that will be circulating around, taking pictures with people. All kinds of fun. It's a great time.
So this is a fun event for the family.
For
this
the
is
family,
for all
yes,
ages.
all ages.
Because kids love macaroni and cheese.
They do,
But
yeah.
you know what? I'm an old big kid, and I love macaroni and
Kids
cheese.
of all
too.
ages.
So everybody could, and it benefits. What group are you raising money for?
Yeah, so it supports poverty relief in Southwest Missouri. So it will proceeds from this event support the work of all 7 of our programs, and 100% goes back into the community. So we don't take any administrative fees or anything from the proceeds. So come and eat some mac and cheese and know that you're doing
And
good.
And what are
University
the hours
Plaza?
and the location?
Yeah, hours and location.
So it's from 11:30 to 2:30 on Saturday, January 11th.
Lunchtime.
At lunchtime, yes. So come hungry. University Plaza Convention Center, 333 South John Q. Hammonds Parkway.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't eat breakfast. I mean, my strategy would be don't eat breakfast or just have a cup of coffee, but don't eat a bunch of stuff because you got to have room for a bunch of different samples.
That's right.
And, okay, and then how much does it cost?
Right now we have advance tickets on sale. If you go to our website, you can find that information at oac.ac. Right, you could buy a ticket for $20 or a Mac 4-pack for $70, so that saves you a little bit of money if you have some friends or family that you want to come with. We also have a VIP experience, which those tickets are still on sale for maybe another day. We'll close that out, but that gives you more of a premier 30-minute early entry to the event, reserved seating. So
You get your own table, I think. and
yeah,
table
you
and
get
chairs.
make sure you have your
Get a
own
t-shirt.
seating. You get a
T-shirt.
t-shirt, some
Does it have like macaroni
swag.
and cheese on there, champion or something?
It has our new mac and cheese logo that was designed for us by Cracker Jack Shack. So he's a cute mac and cheese guy. Lots of fun stuff. A sweet treat, a complimentary drink. So it's a good time. But you can find all of that at oac.ac, and then we'll have tickets at the door for $25. Kids
Okay.
and 4 and under are always free.
Yeah, and it's just a great cause. You're
Yeah.
helping people that need some help, and that's always a good thing and good way to start out this year. Okay, and there's one other event that you got going on this spring.
Queen City Shout. So right now it's chilly. This is a great time to be inside eating comfort food, but when it starts to warm up and we're all ready to get outside, come out and enjoy a week-long celebration of the arts, from music to film and poetry and different art mediums. And that's held at multiple locations around Springfield from March 24th through the 30th. So queencityshout.com is where you can find information about that. And OCAC is one of 6 nonprofit beneficiaries. Queen City Shout is in its 14th year, and it was developed to celebrate the arts and support poverty relief. So there are 6 nonprofits that receive the proceeds from this and partner in this event, and it's a great time, and I highly encourage
That sounds like a lot of
people
fun
to come
too.
out.
That's
Yeah.
another family event.
Yeah,
That you
there's
can bring kids and
yeah.
depending on what type of art you like, or you know, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Dr. Murray doesn't know this, and this kind of
Nice, full of surprises.
Yeah.
but neither does Dennis. But you know, I've got this ambition at my age that I don't know if you've seen on Facebook or not, but he's on Facebook and YouTube. He's an older guy. He looks older than me, but he sits on a stool. He's a comedian. So when we're talking about arts, you know, comedy is
Sure.
an art.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about going live somewhere downtown and doing some senior comedy.
Okay.
Because when you get to be my age, there's a lot of funny
You need a
things.
sense of humor.
Yeah, and so I'm just thinking about, my wife thinks I'm crazy, but no, I'm not crazy. I think I could be pretty good at it. So we might have to add that to it.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll find a place to be, a venue to be. and
Sure.
I'll sit there and see if anybody wants to listen to my comedy, okay?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds great.
That'd be fun.
We
but-
should do it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's good. What else do we need to talk about? We're gonna wind this up, and we're sorry we started late today, and we do have other things that we've got scheduled today, so.
Yeah.
But what else? What else? We don't want to miss anything. What else would you like to tell people?
So here locally in Southwest Missouri, if OCAC speaks to you and you'd like to learn more, get involved, we have always a lot of volunteer opportunities. We have sponsorship opportunities for all of our events, and we've got a lot of different ways to plug in. So people are welcome to contact me, and I would be happy to share more information and connect them in the right place that they're
How
most
do they
interested.
contact you?
So the number 862-4314, and
Okay.
just ask for Lindsay
Okay.
Dumas Bell. there are 2 Lindsay B's at OCAC, so just say Lindsay Bell and you'll get to me.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, and Lindsay, I'm glad you said that because I knew you used volunteers, but we hadn't talked about it. I want to encourage people in 2025. We're starting a new year. One of the best things, a lot of people don't have any extra money, okay? So I understand that. So you may not be able to give money to some type of cause. And if you do, then you need to. If you have the money and you can afford to do it in 2025, you need to help someone else. However, I understand if you don't have money, maybe you have some time. And there's different things that you can do. So this organization, OCAC, is a great organization that you can be part of. And honestly, I can't think of anything else better that you could do than to volunteer. Volunteers are the lifeblood of any organization. They couldn't exist without volunteers. And I'm thinking about through churches and through any of the nonprofits that I know, they need volunteers. We need
Absolutely.
more volunteers than ever. And this is a time where I think we need to have people thinking about other people and helping other people every day, 7 days a week. Not just Thanksgiving, not just Christmas, not during special occasions, but every day. It'll be a better place. So volunteers
Well
are
said.
very important,
yes.
okay?
Yeah.
And next week, we will be live. Hopefully, we will have our sound prepared and everything's working. Hopefully, you got.
We'll have a
something.
volunteer working overtime.
Yeah, we'll have a
I know
volunteer
where the
working
hammers
overtime.
are.
And so we'll hope to do that. But next week will be interesting. Dr. Mary Byrne and I are going to be speaking on. And just gonna go rapid fire back and forth. She's not gonna know what I'm writing down and thinking about, and I'm not gonna know hers. But we're gonna talk about issues, problems, serious problems in our country, and what we consider might be a solution. And that way we would invite you to help.
For
figure out-
2025.
For 2025, and you help try to figure out what those solutions are and things like that too. I think, again, that will make our country a better country. And so Lindsay, thank you for being here today.
Thank you both for having me.
You are a difference maker, and that's what we call everyone that's here. And I'm encouraging people this year to be a difference maker wherever you live. What you saw today, what you heard today, you can do that in your own area. You can be a volunteer. You can find an organization just like OCAC here in Southwest
Or attend their
Missouri.
fundraisers,
Attend the
at the very
fundraiser.
least.
There's things that you can do to make a difference in not only someone else's life, it will make a difference in your life.
That's right.
Okay? So we'll see you back again next Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week.